Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds in the cruiserweight division. This bout is brought to you by Mark Nilsson of Nilsson Boxing in association with John Trethui of TM14 Promotions and their proud sponsors, Allegra and Nutravita. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representative, Des Reese, your timekeeper at the bell, Anne Marie Randall, and your third man in charge of the action in the ring, referee Bernard Oyet. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing the red with gray trim. His official weight of 14 stones, 11 pounds and 7 ounces. He has a record of 28 fights, 9 losses, 1 draw, 18 wins, and 4 of those wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from Kežmarok, Slovakia, introducing Vladimir Big Bad Vlad Belujsky. And his opponents across the ring fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing the black and red. His official weight of 14 stones, 11 pounds and 7 ounces. He is currently undefeated with 5 wins, and 2 of those wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from London, England, United Kingdom, introducing Lucas Lights Out Roehrig!
Gentlemen, 6-round contest. Keep it clean, stay professional at all times, and protect yourself at all times. Shake hands, good luck to both.
As the referee with his final instructions, 6 rounds in the cruiserweight division. Lucas Roehrig looking to extend his unbeaten record against the very tough Vladimir Belujsky.
Round 1.
Although he's got 9 losses on his record, 14 of his 18 wins have come inside the distance, so a good step up here for Roehrig.
Lucas has, well, we've had our share of Jordans throughout the 2 days of cards here, and we've got a Lucas with lights out on his trunks, and another nod to an iconic Hall of Fame legend in James Toney. We'll see if he can live up to that moniker tonight.
Well, I can say I was there on his debut when he won that at the Harrow Leisure Centre, and he beat Joe McIntyre, who was a former English champion. I thought he'd bitten off too much to chew, if I'm totally honest. You look at that and you go, that's ambitious. That was back in December 2024. And he went out there and he absolutely iced him. He took him apart. Shot selection was brilliant. George Groves, who's on the corner of Roehrig, who looks after him, talks so highly about him. And I tell you what, this kid can fight. This could be a big part of the future of British boxing.
The first thing that's caught my eye is the speed. I mean, lights out. He might be punching fast enough to turn the lights out and get in bed before it's dark. You'll remember that adage from Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wait, mate, I'm the man that's meant to do the lines. What's going on here? No, it's a good one.
My bad. It is fascinating to watch fighters at this level come up. And as we've said earlier in the show, this really is where champions are made and where you see a lot of prospects for this first time on their road to becoming names that you know in the household. I don't know that this is what we're seeing right now, but it absolutely can be and has the markings of a future star.
Yep, and Pereira, I think that Belujsky has been brought over and put in front of Roehrig to give him those rounds, to give him those tests.
And to actually test Roehrig's defence, you know, he's got a high knockout rate relative to his record, and, you know, that will test Roehrig's defensive skills. However, Lucas Roehrig wants the hard fights. He wants to be tested, and he wants to develop his craft. He's looking to championship level, and he's not going to get that by getting easy fights.
Yep. He's had some ambitious matchups already in his short 5-fight career, And he's looking to go 6-0 here. And can he add another knockout to that record?
You're right.
Belujsky is known to be durable normally, but he's been put on the back foot here, Radio, and under a lot of pressure.
Well, you're right, and Lucas isn't tough for a sixth fight. I mean, you're looking at a guy with 14 knockouts out of his 18 wins. He's come in to challenge himself, Lucas has, and this is not going to be an easy opponent in any regard, while at the moment, he's making it look easy, which is what makes me think we might be looking at a star.
Yep, drilled the right hand in for good measure there, just before the bell. Lucas Roehrig, dominant start, took control of the centre of the ring, worked well and patiently behind the jab, started finding the range with the right hand as well, and especially effective, Priya, to the body with those shots. He was slamming those shots in, and Belujsky didn't like that.
He didn't, you know, Lucas Roehrig was whipping those shots into the body. He had a good punch selection. He was intelligent with where he was placing the punches, his ring positioning. I think that was a fantastic opening round for him against who is actually a really, really tough opponent.
And leading shots to the body, as we've mentioned before, is a difficult punch to land, and it is a disrespectful punch to attempt, and he's having success with it often and early.
Yep, in
Corners,
Radio Raheem's
10
book, it's
seconds.
a cheeky shot to throw, but you only throw that if you're good enough to throw it.
That's
and
it.
Lucas Roehrig
Seconds
is
out.
cut from that cloth.
Round 2.
I've said it from the beginning, this kid has star quality about him, and I think we're going to see that as his career unfolds.
And Vladimir is a big puncher. The part of the reason that that's a cheeky shot to throw because you're open for the counter. And to do that with a knockout puncher is crazy.
He just landed that left hook to the body there. He drilled that shot in, and you see the flesh on his back actually shaking. That was a solid punch.
Well, you can see when Roehrig actually throws his shots, he really rotates into every single one of them. He throws them with intention. He turns his back foot, and that's what's giving him the power in that rear hand and setting him up to throw the lead hook to the body equally hard.
Already here in the second round, you see Lucas starting to put his shots together. No more is it one shot, even to the body. It's 2 or 3, and they're all landing.
Yep, solid shots, but Belujsky, as we expected, is very durable, very tough, because the shots are just bouncing off his head and his body, and they are being thrown with some venom. But this
Vladimir waiting now. I think he's given up even trying to be elusive and make Lucas miss. He's looking for an opportunity to counter, and he might get busted up all night waiting.
Yep, well, Lucas will do things in his time. He's working well, he's chipping away, just trying to create the opening, set a few chaps. There was a big right hand there. Belujsky was a little bit reckless jumping in, led with that backhand, which you talk about as being cheeky, and he got made to pay. Straight right hand through the middle, and here we go, lights out. He's just starting to turn it up a little bit here.
Right, Belujsky walked onto a shot there, and it was all that he could handle. In fact, I think that lead hand being out front for him is a rangefinder, and he got frustrated waiting and just tried to walk in without his defenses up and got all that he wanted.
He got nailed, mate. That was what you put it. He got nailed. There, the right hand again, and Belujsky now covering up, shaking his head, saying he's all right with Priya, sorry. We know that when a fighter does that, they're not all right.
They certainly aren't. He's just, you know, clipped Lucas as he was moving backwards, so it didn't quite land fully. But, you know, Roehrig needs to be a bit careful because, you know, with the relaxed guard and he's in range with a heavy puncher, he does need to be careful. But he's picking his opponent off really well. Just like behind this jab, he's just landed 3 jabs there, nice and clean.
Yep, they're painful shots as well. You know, he's throwing that jab not as a rangefinder, he's throwing it as a weapon, and that really does hurt. It breaks you down, and we see that the man Belujsky, who's normally on the front foot, is dancing around the ring at the moment like Muhammad Ali. He's trying to stay out of trouble, and I don't know that footwork is going to be good enough to keep him out of trouble, because Roehrig, for me, is slowly chipping away here. We got a tough guy in front of him in Vladimir Belujsky. As we said there, 14 of his 18 inside the distance. We know he comes to win. We know he comes to fight, and he's physically very strong. And Roehrig has dominated so far.
and he's in there against a fighter that's looking near complete. I'm not really seeing any holes in Lucas's game, and it has to be said again that he's in there against a knockout puncher, and he has all the confidence that he's fast enough to elude the counter shot and is crafty enough to land combination punches without being hit. And so far, he's been right.
He's certainly been successful with that lead hook to the body. You saw at the end of that last round that Belujsky's elbows were starting to drop. You know he felt those body shots. It'll be interesting to see how much it slows him down in the next couple of rounds.
Now to have a name like Lights Out, you're going to need to have a heavy shot, something to put your opponent down with one punch. That is yet to be seen. If I'd say if there's anything incomplete about the fight and there's plenty of time for that to materialize, that it's that. I've not seen the heavy-handedness that might be a one-punch knockout artist.
Yep, well, Big Bad Vlad is going to have to keep himself out of trouble here.
Just wonder if I've just seen a bit of bruising under the left eye of Lucas Roehrig.
There again, that's the shot there. That's the one that's breaking you down. That's the one that just like, them shots are painful. Those left-hand leads that you drill into the face. As Roehrig really loads up with all the shots.
I mean, an accumulation of punches is how you get the best type of knockouts because it creates the most poorest opportunities in a fighter's defense. Maybe that's what Lucas is working towards because everything he's throwing really is finding a home. And later in this fight, he just might get that single punch knockout, but it won't be because of the power, it'll be because of the progress that he made throughout the fight.
Yep, accumulation of punches are going to slowly break this guy down. If they do, Belujsky looks physically very strong. He's short, he's squat, he takes a good punch. Difficult guy to get rid of.
Definitely, and just gotta, what Lucas Roehrig needs to focus on is just making sure that he boxes well, he stays behind his jab. Going for the knockout would be amazing for him in this fight, but I think he does need to operate and just be a bit sensible with it and not get demoralized that he hasn't managed to get him out of there yet.
That crisp triple jab and now work to the body lets me know that I'm dealing with a guy that the amount of fights he's had isn't really indicative of the amount of seasoning and ring IQ that he possesses. He's fighting like a seasoned fighter.
Absolutely. George Groves works meticulously with him in the gym day to day. He's like a father figure to him. He looks after him. He chooses the right fights, chooses the right sparring partners. You got to remember, when you've been there, seen it, done it, that's such an advantage, man. And George has been there at the highest level, so he knows what it takes to get you there. And here we go, Roehrig turning it up. Good response from Belujsky, but Belujsky's trolling roll the dice, but in doing that, I think he's going to get himself knocked spark out here.
That is my favorite, when you just turn the gear up with no warning. Let you know now that this is an explosive fighter. That is the kind of activity that could get you a name like Lights Out.
Just see George Groves just a few seconds earlier just telling him to just back up and get back behind his jab, and great advice there as well, because that's exactly where Roehrig's most successful.
Yep, he turned it up there, he pulled on the pressure. George Groves has that experience. He's recognised that Belujsky's not ready to go yet. You've hit him with some big shots, you've given him everything. Go back there again, start chipping away again. Take a little bit more of that soul, because there's still a little left in his body, and before you mount that final attack, that final combination of punches, body shots, head shots, uppercuts, right hands, I can visualise it now, but before that happens, you got to earn it, you got to chip away at it. George recognised, whoa, Lucas, slow down, son. Yeah. Don't blow a gasket. Don't go and blow a gasket. We've still got half the fight to go.
Again, that is savviness from Lucas, more than his record would suggest in the 5 fights he's had. Settling down, not getting excited just because you had that amount of explosive success, not going over the top with it and punching yourself out. Okay, it's not time yet. I'll go back to breaking them down. I'll go back to put money in the bank, and I'll withdraw that money in a little bit more time, maybe 3, maybe 6 minutes, and he'll be ready to go.
Well, let's see if Vladimir Belujsky is ready to go in this round. The odds would say he's not. Pray out.
Well, I think Lucas Roehrig's shown real discipline and intelligence with how he's sort of, he did roll the dice on it in the previous round. It didn't quite work, so he's gone back to his jab, he's gone back to boxing, he's listened to his corner, and that to me is the mark of somebody who will actually do really well in this sport.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Listening, learning all the time. We're all doing that, that's for sure.
Well, I believe it's Vladimir who's in class tonight.
Big uppercut on the inside there again. He took a gamble there though, Roehrig. His chin just got lifted up there. He led with a back right hand uppercut to the head, which is a dangerous shot to throw because your head comes up, you do leave yourself open. He got away with it, but took a little chance, and there you go, loading up again with the right hands. I'll tell you what, he felt that one. Belujsky definitely felt that one. The legs just done a little funny dance.
And that was all set up with a stabbing right hand to the body by Lucas.
You can see Belujsky struggling now, you know, he's sort of losing his composure and starting to look tired, and Roehrig's just coming into his own.
Yeah.
I've just seen in Belujsky a give. I've seen in Belujsky that, there you have it. He's now resigned that he's just overmatched tonight, and maybe he goes into survival mode, or maybe he gets broken down, and this is one of those rare occasions on which he touches canvas.
Yep, do you know what? I think he gets knocked out trying, because he's a proud man and he's standing there. He's took some big shots, a massive uppercut went in just moments ago, and he tried to throw a shot with him, but it was a laboured shot, a lazy shot, and I think if you're sitting in the pocket and getting a little too greedy, you're going to get knocked out. And I think that Lucas Roehrig has the capability to take you out with any shot from any angle.
Spence, Belujsky will continue to try, but he has stopped believing, and there is a difference.
Oh yeah, I agree, but when he tries is when he gets knocked out, is what I'm saying, because that opportunity does create an opportunity for Roehrig as well.
And that is the mental breakdown that is so difficult for a fighter. When you try is when you get knocked out. Imagine that being the dynamic that you're facing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we said. When you look at the record of Belujsky, and you look at this, and you go, he's got 18 wins, 14 knockouts. You know he's going to come and try.
Exactly, and he does come over with that rear hand, and he's catching the chin and the side of the face of Lucas Roehrig because his lead hand's so relaxed. I think that was a good round for Roehrig. It tested him a bit, but I think he managed it well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Belujsky showed a little bit of character in there, didn't he? He stuck in there, he took some big punches to the head, the right hand stabbing shot, as our man on my left there, Radio Raheem would call it, the stabbing right hand to the body. That was working as well, and you go, oh, Belujsky's out.
There it is.
Belujsky is out, he's done, he's had enough. You could sort of see that he was getting broken down. Maybe not the finish that Roehrig wanted, but still, Freya, he got it inside the distance.
And do you know what? I think his corner made the right decision there. What is the point in taking any more punishment, you know, from someone like Lucas Roehrig, who's got some stinging punches? I think the corner made the right decision. Like we always say, it is the welfare of the boxer that, you know, is the most important thing.
Right, well, let's do it. How far can this kid go? We're talking British, Commonwealth, European. Can he reach world heights?
2 points. I'm not sure it's the corner's decision. They might have just covered their man, because when he stopped believing and realized that when he tried, the knockout was coming, that's when he quit on the stool. There was no place for him to go. That, I would say, Spence, is maybe a more satisfying stoppage than knocking a man out with one punch. That really is lights out, and he got his opponent to be the one to turn him off.
Yep, I like that, and I like that a lot, my friend. I think you broke that down very, very well. When we're talking about stealing a soul or the soul leaving the body, he's certainly done that, Lucas. And I think, I asked you the question, I'm going to put my neck on the line, I think this kid goes all the way.
We thought from the very opening bell we were looking at a star, and indeed we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee Bernard Auriet accepts the retirement of the red corner at the end of round number 4. Therefore, your winner and still undefeated, Lucas Lights Out Roehrig.
but if they stick the main event in right away.
Lucas, congratulations on that performance. That was so dominant, so strong. Tell me your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I thought it was a clean performance. Hardly got hit at all, and it's just really good to be back. You know, even though it's only been like 2-3 months, it's felt like a long time, especially when you're fighting so regularly. So, thank you to all my fans that come out, heard you all, and appreciate all the love.
Listen, your opponent, Big Bad Vlad, he was no walkover. This was touted as a real step up, a real challenge for you. Ben Whittaker stopped him in 8. Carol Talma stopped him in 8. You stopped him in 4. Where does that put you up in the sport?
You know, it's we're doing, me and George, we're progressing, you know, really at the right level, what we want to be doing. Hopefully going to be 8-0 before the end of the year. And then next year, we're going to be gunning for titles. You know, any other prospects, any undefeated prospects, you know, out there in the top 10, you know, that's what we're gunning for.
Your is probably your most amazing weapon. It just cannot miss. What were some of the things that George was telling you in the corner as the rounds progressed and the shots were varying?
Yeah, well, before coming into the fight, that's what George said. The jab's going to be the most important punch of this fight. You know, he doesn't move his head very much, Vlad. You know, he's quite a static target. And for me, you know, it's like that saying, the right hand would take you, you know, to a championship, where the jab will take you around the world. So that's what we're working on, and that's what we're showing on in the ring.
Yeah, man. For me, I think you're one of my favorite prospects. You're being, you know, picked to do big things in the sport. How does that pressure feel? How does it feel? Like, are you enjoying it? You feel like there's a lot going on? Like, how are you handling that pressure?
I love the pressure. You know, I've got a good team around me. I've got good people around me. You know, the pressure's what we live for. And I've got my family. I've got all my friends from way back in the day. You know, the pressure builds us, and it's something, you know, as you know yourself as a champion, that's what you thrive on, and 100%. That's what keeps you going.
100%.
You've been super active this year. This is your 5th fight of the year. How important is it for you to stay active, keep that momentum going?
Very important. You know, we got Mr. Silent here. We're going to be fighting in November again on the Wasserman show, and then hopefully once more before the end of the year, get us to 8-0. So activity is key, and that's what we're going to keep on doing.
So 2026 is going to be a big year. What do you see on the horizon for yourself?
Titles, you know, English title, Southern Area title, working all the way up to British title, and yeah, that's the goals.
Listen, you're so exciting. Every time you come onto one of our shows, we're all so happy to have you here. That was an amazing performance. We can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Good work, champ.